Hello everyone, and welcome back to Level Up Your Grammar. I'm Jasmine from Press A for ESL, and today we're going to be talking about the first conditional. Let's take a look at our manga panel from Persona 5. Our manga panel features Ryuji, and he says, and if that castle really is inside of Kamoshida's head, that means those rumors are true. If we can just get a volleyball player to admit he's beating them, we can get Kamoshida fired. So today we're going to be focusing on this section, which is if we can just get a volleyball player to admit he's beating them, we can get Kamoshida fired. So let's look into what the first conditional is. So before we talk about what is the first conditional, I do want to point out that English has 4 conditionals: the zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. Now we'll be focusing on the first conditional in this video. However, future videos will go over the rest of the conditionals. Now for the first conditional, we use it to show real and possible future situations, things that could actually happen if certain conditions are met. And for every conditional, they have their own grammatical structure. And so for the first conditional, it is structured like this. In our first clause, we have if plus present simple and then followed by a comma after the if clause. And then we move on to the main clause, which will have a modal like will, can, may, and might, plus the base verb to form this conditional tense. Okay, now I know that's probably a lot of information to process, but don't worry, we're going to break it down even further with our manga example. So in our example, Ryuji says, if we can just get a volleyball player to admit he's beating them, we can get Kamoshida fired. So this shows a real possibility that if they get the volleyball player, then the event of Kamoshida getting fired is a possibility. So again, we have the if plus present. So if plus get in the first clause, followed by a comma. And then in the main clause, we see the modal can plus the base verb of get. And so you can add modals to the if clause as well to show even more information. So in this context, if plus can plus get, followed by the comma, and another modal can plus get shows ability. So the ability to get that volleyball player to admit will have that real possibility of Kamoshida getting fired. Okay, how is everyone doing so far? I know that's a lot of information to process, but I do want to just show you one cool thing about conditionals, which is you can flip them. So if we take our manga example and we put the main clause first, we can get Kamoshida fired if we can just get a volleyball player to admit he's beating them. Do you notice anything different? Are we missing something? Well, if the main clause comes first, you do not need a comma. So our main clause is we can get Kamoshida fired. So no commas after that. Now, since if clause is a dependent clause, it has to have a comma if it comes first before the main clause. That is just the rules of any dependent clause, whether it's an adverb clause or a conditional clause. Now, sometimes we do put the main clause first just to add emphasis, but usually the if clause comes first for a conditional. Okay, I hope you got that because we have a hold up quick challenge time. So for our quick challenge, you are going to fill in the blank to finish up this conditional. So we have you'll get wet blank. So I give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so here's an example for you, which is you'll get wet if you go outside. So I hope you put an if clause in that blank because this is where the main clause was first. No, don't worry if you didn't put an if clause in the blank because we have one more hold up quick challenge. So for this challenge question, it's if we talk to Kamoshida blank. Now for this one, please put your sentences in the comments below and I'll provide you feedback on them. All right, that was our last hold up quick challenge and we'll be moving on to our recap. So the first conditional is used to show real and possible future situations if certain conditions are met. To form the first conditional, you'll need this grammatical structure, which is if plus present tense, followed by a comma, and then you have a modal plus the base verb in the main clause. Now, if the main clause is first, you don't need a comma, But if the if clause is first, you have to have a comma after the if clause because it's a dependent clause. Great work, everyone. Thank you for coming to Press A for ESL. Your hard work has paid off and you just earned 10 experience points.